The United States spends nearly $1 trillion a year on the most sophisticated military hardware in history. Yet today, a $2,000 drone built with off-the-shelf parts is capable of destroying a $300 million American radar array. This imbalance is most visible at the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's daily oil supply is forced through a shipping lane only 9 kilometers wide. For U.S. allies in the region, the threat is immediate. These nations rely on massive desalination plants to turn seawater into drinking water. A single drone strike on these exposed industrial tanks could leave an entire population without water in days. Despite possessing the power to level entire nations, the United States currently finds itself in a paralyzing stalemate in this specific corner of the world. The tension here centers on the mechanism of American global economic survival, the continued dominance of the U.S. dollar. In 1951, Iranian Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh made a decision that the West viewed as a declaration of war. He moved to nationalize Iranian oil, intending to keep the profits for his own people, rather than letting them flow to Britain and America. The US and UK retaliated with Operation Ajax, a CIA-backed coup that overthrew Mossadegh. They replaced him with the Shah, a monarch who would ensure that Iranian oil remained under Western influence. The Iranian public saw the Shah as an American puppet. This coup planted the seeds of the deep anti-American sentiment that would define the region for the next 70 years. By 1971, the US faced a different crisis. President Richard Nixon abruptly removed the dollar from the gold standard. Without gold backing, the global demand for American currency was suddenly at risk of collapsing. To maintain its position as the global reserve currency, the U.S. needed a new commodity that every nation was forced to buy: Middle Eastern oil. In 1974, America struck a deal with Saudi Arabia. They would provide military protection for the Gulf royals, provided they sold their oil exclusively in U.S. dollars. These petrodollars were then reinvested back into the U.S. economy through treasury bonds. The 1979 Islamic Revolution broke this cycle in Iran. Ayatollah Khomeini ousted the Shah and aggressively dismantled American influence, removing one of the region's largest oil producers from the dollar-based system. During the ensuing Iran-Iraq War, the U.S. backed Saddam Hussein with intelligence and billions in aid. Even as Iraq used chemical weapons against Iranian civilians, the international community remained silent. This perceived abandonment convinced Iranian leaders that they could never rely on international law. To them, a nuclear deterrent became the only way to prevent a U.S.-led invasion. History shows that leaders who challenge the petrodollar, like Saddam or Gaddafi, are eventually destroyed. Iran's nuclear pursuit is designed to be the ultimate shield against that same fate. Iran studied how the U.S. dismantled regimes in Iraq and Libya. In response, they implemented the Mosaic Doctrine, dividing the nation into 31 command zones. If central leadership is killed, each province acts independently, continuing the war on its own. The geography is a natural fortress. Ground invasions are hindered by the Zagros Mountains, which historically stopped the largest armored divisions. Inside, Iran hides Nisl cities, vast subterranean bases effectively immune to standard U.S. airstrikes. Beyond their borders, Iran uses a proxy network, groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, to drain American and Israeli resources without ever risking a direct symmetrical war. This combination of decentralized command, mountain fortifications, and proxy warfare creates a tactical environment highly resistant to traditional American air campaigns and regime change strategies. Iran is now targeting the very U.S. bases meant to protect the Gulf. The security the U.S. promised in the original petrodollar deal has become the primary reason these allies are now under fire. If Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, the petrodollar cycle breaks at its source. Without the constant flow of oil settled in dollars, the primary mechanism of U.S. economic control begins to fail. There is also a deeper vulnerability. The submarine internet cables that carry global banking data and data traffic run through these same contested waters. The U.S. is caught in a deadlocked choice. Backing down means surrendering the dollar's dominance, while full escalation risks a collapse of global energy and communication networks. The current stalemate represents a battle for the survival of the global economic order, where the stability of the dollar and the flow of world energy hang in the balance.